Welcome back to Prof E Plays. I'm Prof E, and in this is the second episode here in my Cepheus Universal series. So last time we did kind of the setup for what the campaign is going to be like. We found out the campaign's really just going to be a one-shot here, and then we'll see if we like the characters and maybe start a new campaign after that. Who knows? Uh, so this is going to be character creation. So what we know, we're designing characters that are going to have gotten kind of unintentionally involved in a plot, an assassination plot, where they have just kind of stumbled upon this information and now they feel a need to do something about it. So that is something that we know about these characters. I know nothing else, except that I'm going to create them three different ways. Cepheus Universal provides us with three different methods of making characters. So I'm going to use each of those methods for one of these characters. So that way we get a taste of all of them. So the first one is going to be a turn-by-turn character creation. So for those who have watched, say, my previous Cepheus series, this is exactly what the system reference document talks about. And Cepheus Universal has this as an appendix. It is not kind of the standard way of making characters in Cepheus Universal. I suspect because it can take a while. And certainly, this is not exactly the same as what you might find in other versions of this type of game. Uh, and I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on that, but there are some differences. Specifically, death is much more rare, though it's possible. So we'll see if we actually end up with a character. I'm going to actually say, if this character dies, I want our first scene that we play to be how the character dies. I think that'd be awesome. Okay. So let's go ahead and try it. So the first step here is to determine characteristics. So I roll 2d6 six times, just go down the line. So here we go. So the strength is a 10. That's 10 out of 12, so that's actually quite high. Dex is 7, which is average. Endurance is a 6. It's just slightly below average. I don't think there's actually a penalty at that point. Intelligence is a 5, so not the brightest character. Education is also a 5, right? So neither intelligence nor education is particularly high. And then social score is actually quite high. It's an 11. Now, it does say that if we want to, we can take and swap two of these. Um, I'm debating whether I want to swap endurance with social. Um, because I'm thinking like on the whole, this is a very physical character. But I also kind of like playing the as it is. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Next thing, I need to figure out name and sex is step number 2. So I just am using a random number generator. G, I guess this would be Jeanne Alexander. There we go. Jeanne Alexander is the name. It sounds feminine to me, so I'm just going to mark that as female. Origins. So here's where we get to go back into the life path stuff. So I'm just going to mark my spot here and then go back and we'll figure out some of the life path details. So things like character origins and the like. All right, so flipping through here. All right, so character life path. First, we need to find out about the home world. The home world is a 7. So it's a garden, a high-tech garden world. And EL of 13 is what I just rolled. So that's fairly advanced world there. Um, Parents. Let's find out about parents. Rolling 8. 8 is that they're alive. So parents alive. So you need to roll about their standing. So what are they like? 5. Dirt poor and struggling. Okay, so Jeannie Alexander comes from a relatively poor family, not doing particularly well. Next, sibling. How many siblings? How many brothers and sisters? Five indicates just one. So there's just one sibling. And roll for relations with that sibling. Seven, they're a bitter rival. Sibling may or may not come into our story. Don't really know. All right, next then. Life events. Oh, wait, now here I need to check to see whether we, because I think that the life events we may not do. So we need to find homeworld, situation, and siblings. We'll determine character psych evaluation later once we decide what kind of life he or she's led. Okay, so it looks like we are not doing life events. I think that's something that is integrated into story here. But since we do have the stats at this point, I do want to uh, calculate like height and weight, that kind of thing. Because I do like that they actually have a system for that here, which some of the games that are similar to this do not actually do. Okay, so here we go. So the formula here for height, we multiply either strength or dex by 3. It's my choice. And then add 144 centimeters because they're female. It would be an additional 10 centimeters if they're male. So I want her to be fairly tall or kind of average height. I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with tall, actually. Let's do that. Right, so 10 times 3 would give me 30, so 174 centimeters. I think I did the math right there. So 174 centimeters, what does that come to? I'm an American, I don't know. So in inches, okay, so she's like 5'8" and a half, so just slightly taller than I am in real life. Okay. And then for weight, it says if all three characteristics under 7 they're not, then they're out of shape, but they're not. So other characters add strength to endurance and multiply by 4, then add 14 kilograms. If strength plus endurance is 16 times 4 would be 64. 64 plus 14 gives us 78 kilograms. I'm also going to note this in imperial units because, again, that's what I know. So 78 kilograms to pounds. So we're talking about 172 pounds. Okay, so a little bit lighter than I am in real life. Okay. All right. So we've got her height and weight taken care of there. Cool. Education level of 5 plus is equivalent to basically a high school education. So we're aware of that. Okay. Next thing, career choice. So based on the setting, also in the campaign concept this character is being created for, select one of the careers from those listed below. So, um, so the options are agent, belter, civilian, fixer, explorer, marine, merchant, rogue, primitive, mercenary, scavenger, technician, scientist, and spacer. So there are a couple possibilities. So one, we know that this is supposed to be kind of espionage political, and we also know that we're trying to stop an assassination. So it is possible, right? I mean, she could be an agent, but that would kind of change things a bit. I guess that would make the motivation clearer, that she might actually have the charge to stop this assassination since she found out about it. Actually, yes, let's do that. So she might not be the one that got the information originally, but she is the one that's on the case. So I like that. So let's do career is agent. There we go. Now, think about being an agent. What do we know about that? First, preferred characteristic is Soch. Having 10 plus there provides a +1 to all risk rolls. That's good. That's good because she has a high social score. Auto skill, she automatically gets investigate at a level 1. Okay, so that's also good to know. So I'm just going to write that down, investigate 1. All right. What else? In terms of risk, it's fairly hazardous. So I'm just going to write down here that it's 7 plus for risk. And Promotion, it's competitive, so it's an 8 plus there. All right. And then in terms of, oh, skill tables are military and crime. I'm going to, in terms of species, I'm going to make her human. I've decided that I'm just going to make this an all human uh, galaxy or whatever. I'm not going to mess with aliens. Okay. So she starts out, I believe, at rank 1, if I recall correctly. So you gain the auto skill. Okay, done. Then we roll risk. So the first term, she's an agent. So we want to roll risk. So we roll 2d6. This is hazardous at 7 plus. Although I do get a plus 1 on this. Okay. Okay, well, so whether I succeed or fail, there's some kind of a. So I'm trying to hit 7 or more, and this is at a plus 1. I got a total of 9, so that's a success. So risk, I'm just going to mark yes, as in yes, we succeeded. And what happens there? I get to roll on a table. Oh, and since it's 8, so I succeed with a plus 1, so I get to add 1 to this roll. 3 plus 1 is 4. So romance that continues today or ended on a good note. All right, so it's not bad. So romance that continues today. This is add a friend. Or ended well, add a friend. This might possibly be one of the other characters. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Next would be, okay. Next step would be to roll commission, except she's not in a military career, so we don't do that. Now we roll promotion. It's competitive, so we need 8 plus here. So you roll 2d6, and that's it. Okay. I got a 4, so I did not get a promotion here. In fact, I failed by 4. So promotion table, if you fail, you need to roll on this, 2d6, and then I would add 4 to that because I failed by 4, so I got 7, that makes it an 11. You broke a lot of rules to get the job done. Rules, what was the job? So you broke a lot of rules. What was the job? So I'm thinking, so remember, she is just now starting out as an agent. That means, actually, her rank would be detective or agent. So I'm thinking, well, let's roll skill gains. Let's roll skill gains, and then that might possibly inform us some. So we gain skills. Initial term of service, we roll 2. So we get to choose, I believe, and return which divide the rolls as you desire between the skill tables for that career. All right. So between crime and military, I'm just going to do 1 on each. Right. So on crime, I got plus 1 to gun combat, and on military, I got 4. There's no military listed here that I can see. There's combat, which I'm assuming that is what was intended there by military. It may have been a typo or something. Let me double check there. Yeah, I mean, like when Marines get combat instead of military, yeah, yeah. So that was definitely intended to be combat. So, so the combat was 5. That's heavy weapons. All right. So plus 1 to gun combat, plus 1 to heavy weapons. So clearly, a lot of the rules that got broken involved violence. So I'm thinking, but Jeannie Alexander clearly works for law enforcement in some fashion. Um, I'm thinking that she was going undercover, right, in to investigate an organization. Perhaps I actually have names for these organizations now. Perhaps undercover to investigate. If I can find my faction sheet, not them. Um, the Sons of Akshani. That would be the criminal organization that's planning to do the assassination. So I'm going to say that she was investigating Sons of Oshani. Okshani. and something went wrong, right? So, and I mean, her cover was blown. That makes sense. And cover was blown, and basically she shot her way out of the problem. So, so that's one agent. Okay, that's our first term. Next then we go back. Let's see what's the next step. So we did skill check. My question is, do we remain? So we have to roll under 12 on 2d6 in order to remain. Okay, and add the number of terms already served. So here we go. So roll. I rolled an 11. So add the number of terms already served, including the current one. So I got 12. So we're out. That's great. Okay. That means that she is 22 years old. Okay, so I have to summarize this here on our character sheet here for Jeannie. Okay, so we have Jeannie Alexander. Okay, strength of 10, dex 7, endurance 5, intelligence, education, but no, endurance 6, intelligence and education, both 5, soch of 11. Her career was that she was an agent for one term, right? So just rank 1. She's currently 22 years old. She's human, a female. Her origin, I'm just going to mark that as 4. Her skills include 1 level of investigate, 1 level of gun combat. Oh, I was misreading these character sheets. And 1 level of heavy weapons. Oh, goodness. Okay. Height and weight 174 and 70 kilograms. Okay. So she was out pretty quick. Leaving career, so characters ready to play, ready or not, whether or not the characters actually left their careers based on the campaign concept. I'm going to say she has left. I kind of like that. Benefit eligibility, she's rank 1 and has 1 term of service, so she gets a total of 2 rolls on the benefits table. So let's go ahead and roll for that. Oh, the first was a 2, so she gets +1 to her dex there. So her dex is up to 8. And she's going to get 1 more roll. It's a 9, which is a weapon. Okay. Oh, and everybody begins with 100, 1,000 credits. She gets a weapon or rare or unique custom piece of equipment. I think a weapon makes sense, right, given her background. So I'm just going to mark down weapon, and then I'll decide later off camera exactly what that weapon is. Given that she has the point in gun combat, it's going to be some kind of firearm, obviously. All right. And I think we probably want to make sure that we have some notes here. So sibling of bitter rival. Also note about oh, what else? Okay. Sibling that's a bitter rival. Oh yes, and also she has this lover or former lover friend. Make a note of that. Okay. So Jeannie, we have done. That was probably the shortest term term for creation possible. Okay. All right. So it's Jeannie. I'm kind of thinking of her as our main character. And next, I'm going to do a random character creation. You'll be flipping back earlier in the book. Okay. And we'll see how this goes. Right. Now, and I will eventually literally buy equipment and that kind of thing. So that will be there. Okay. It's really boring to watch people just I'm sorry, on screen. Especially because in Cepheus Universal, remember it tries to be universal, so there's an enormous equipment list available covering all kinds of stuff. So I'm not going to bother doing that on screen. Just assume that we're going to give her appropriate things, right? And hey, she got a free weapon. All right, so First, random creation. So initial details, it says, is how we start here, and that's pages 26 and 27. Okay, all right. So, and so we need a name first. Well, let's go ahead and look at my random name generator. The next name here is Leonel Roberts. You might think I'm mispronouncing it. No, it's Leonel or Leonel or something like that. But I like Leonel. It'll be Leo then. Roberts. All right. Sex, this sounds masculine to me, so I'm going to just go ahead and make that male. Yeah, I'm going by stereotypes. Notable features. This is something that we did not do for Jeannie. Okay, so it's six. His hair is notable. So, okay. Maybe his hair is as shaggy as mine has gotten. I really need to get a haircut. Okay, so there's something different about his hair. We'll note that later. Then education. Okay, well, we need to go through and we need to roll up all this stuff to figure out what the education would be. All right. So it specifically says for random character creation that we would roll all of that, I believe. Yeah, so just roll each characteristic. We can swap two if we want to. Okay. Okay. Make to mark my spot here so it's easier for me to get back to work. Let's go ahead and roll them. Strength is 5, so definitely not going to be. Uh, oh, and Dex is also 5. So while Genio was a very physical character, Leonel is not. He has high endurance, though. So I guess he can take a hit, but he's not very strong or dexterous. The intelligence is an 8, which is not terrible. Education's 8 as well, so it's slightly above average in those areas, and so is a 7. All right. So 7 in social, so average as far as that goes. Okay. So education-wise, being 8, that indicates that he did complete high school. He did not complete a bachelor's degree, but is somewhere in between there, right? So he does have some training in something. A character can speak their own language with fluency 5. For every point of education above 5, the character gains 1 fluency level in another language. Oh, that's interesting. And so I'm not bothering with languages just yet, but it is nice to know that he does have 3 levels of fluency in some other language. They may be divided up in some way. In terms of height and weight, right? So height and weight, well, in this case, I can do strength or dex. They're the same. So it's 5 times 3 is 15 plus 140, well, plus 154. So it's 169 is his height. 169 and make that into inches because I don't know what it is. TM in inches. Okay, so he's basically 5 foot 6.5 inches tall. So he's a little bit shorter than Beanie is. Then in terms of weight, that's strength plus endurance. That's 16 times 4. 16 times 4 would be, what is that, 64? Yeah. 64 plus, in his case, 24. 64 plus 24 gives us 88 kilograms. 88 kilograms is 194 pounds. Right, so he's a bit, given his height, he's definitely a bit on the overweight side. He's shorter than I am, heavier than I am, certainly, by a bit, right? Outrageously so. Psych evaluation. So let's see what his psychological state is like. Oh, he's cynical, downbeat, and despondent. All right. Oh, that's fantastic. Poor guy. All right. So we've got that. So the initial details taken care of. Now skills are the next thing. And so he has 6 skill roles that he can divide up between any 2 skill categories. So, right, so these skill categories are, oh, I could just roll them randomly. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to roll 2 random tables. They are space ops and wilderness. All right. And then I'm just gonna roll. The first space ops, he gets three of these, so one, six, and five. So it's gunnery, computer, and medical. All those at level one. And then wilderness, six, three, and four. So vac suit, leader, and vehicle. All right, cool. So there's that. Now, so bonus skill also remember to roll for a random bonus skill on page 32. Okay, so page 32, bonus skill. So I get to pick one of these two tables. Okay, well, I don't much care whether it's table A or table B, so let's just do table A. Carousing. So this guy has a lot more skills. I think he has a level each in seven different skills. That feels like a lot. But and that might just be because Jeannie has so few skills. All right, and that's that in terms of skills. Cool. We also will. I do want to flesh out some of the life event kind of stuff, so he's a little bit more well-rounded as a character. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the page here a bit. There we go. All right, so let's find out more about these. So his homeworld. Let's find out more about his homeworld. Eight. So he's also comes from a high-tech garden homeworld, level 10. So homeworld is high-tech garden, tech level 10. Okay. His parents. What about his parents? They are. Oh, one is absent. Okay. Well, what happened to that parent? We're separated. It says separated. Why? Separated. Oh, because they're kidnapped. Okay, one parent got kidnapped. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Next then, have siblings. How many siblings? Oh, okay. 2d6, 7, two siblings. What do we know about that? One of them looks up to you as a hero, and the other is a better rival. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. Right, so I think that might possibly be connected in some fashion. Next then, life events. All right, so how many life events do we have? Oh, roll 1d6 plus 2. Okay, so it's just three life events. Okay, so the first life event, 7, something related to friendships. So what do we have for a friendship? A coworker. Next life event. 6 is a romance. 9. 9 as it was a brief fling. And then the last life event is 4. It's a lucky break. What happened for this lucky break? 7, you gain wealth from an unexpected source. 60,000 credits. I'm going to pause for a second here. So you hear my son just got home. Okay, so then just to wrap up this one, and then I'll make another video doing our third character. Um, so the reason for leaving Homeworld. Just rolled that. Spent time in prison. Now making a new start where freedom is guaranteed. Or is it? Okay. So spent time in prison. So trying to make a new start. All right. So that is that for Leonel. All right. So we're going to create one more character using the I think it's called design or something like that. Design-based creation. But we're going to do that in another videos. Okay. All right. So this is Prof E signing off.